Good morning, everybody. Thomas here from D3 Buff Guys. I know it has been a crazy past couple of weeks. I was off on a nice camping trip, having a great time, but now back at it again. How are you doing, Pa? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I have to give the apologies of the other Buff guy, Williams. He's got some work today, so he's not able to join us, but he's there in spirit. I've been in touch with him earlier today.
Yeah.
He's still motivated. He's still energized. So I'm pretty good. Pretty good. That sounds so American. I am very well, thank you, young man.
Good.
I'm enjoying life, enjoying health and happiness. So I cannot complain.
Fantastic.
What about you? You tell me about your day.
Well, the week's been good. It was Memorial Day last Monday. As you may have shared to the group, I was camping. I was away. Had a great time. Then Tuesday got back to the grindstone. Had a busy week, stressful week, but it's just made me enjoy the weekend all the more. So, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy.
Good to hear. Okay, so I am still waiting for a photograph from you, but I got one from your brother. So last week, I know that you said you spent a little bit of time looking at the broadcast.
Yeah.
But we're making progress.
It's really, yeah. I mean, the progress is.
I need to get a better photograph because my hair there is even worse than it was there. So when you're working with something as good as this, sometimes just the minor detractions make a big difference. By the way, talking about nearly there, by the end of next week, will be a third of my way towards you.
Wow.
I'm average roughly between 95 and 100 kilometers a week. So that's about 55 miles. So yeah, I'm making progress. So by the time we get to this is a never-ending journey. So by the time we get to your wedding, I will probably walk to America and back 2 or 3 times.
That's absolutely incredible. It is absolutely incredible. When you put it into numbers like that, it's kind of mind-blowing in a way.
It is. I wish I'm going to do some research with Mr. Google to find out where I would be walking past now.
Yeah.
If I landed in New York, and I'll put some pictures on there for the future. But 1,300 kilometers since the beginning of January.
Wow.
Not too bad at all, really.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so looking back. For me, what went well? I'll start this week. What went well? I met my daily step goal. That's one positive thing that I can say.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? In general, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good because I realized that the last time that I did not meet my daily step goal was early in March. So all of May, all of March, all of April, all of May, beginning of June. So 3.5 months. And the only reason that I missed that daily step goal then was because I was driving back from the UK to Austria on that day. So that made me feel really good.
Right.
So that was something that made me feel positive. I've had a heavy week at work. Again, that's an excuse. But as a result, for the last week's challenges, of course, I met the daily step goal. But the additional challenge of an hour was totally 2 to 3 hours of a different exercise I didn't meet. What I was going to do is I was going to take up cycling. I've been pushing myself to get the steps in, but I didn't have the motivation to do the cycling. I know that William did. I know that he spent time on his exercise bike. He sent a couple of screenshots of his achievements, so he's been doing it. Fantastic. What about you? How did your week go?
Just as I was saying before, really Stressed, but it was a good week. Got a lot done. I'm feeling good. Uh, I don't think anything particular happened, so I'm just sort of just feeling all right. How did last week's challenges go? Meet the daily steps goal. Uh, I am currently at 13,000 steps on average this week. I haven't fallen below 10. Um, I've also been making it a point on Saturdays to go down to the gym for an hour. I'll,
Really?
yeah, oh yeah. Um, I go down there. I have a show that I enjoy watching that Lily, she's not that into. So I use that kind of as my time to go down there, watch my show, get on, get exercising. That's either on the bike or that's on the treadmill, and I'll get those numbers up. And yeah, so every Saturday did that yesterday as well. So it's good. It's fun. We got a nice view out of the pool from the gym. So
And are you on your own there, or are there other people in there?
the the good thing about the amenities here, the gym and the pool, is no one's using them until about noon. So you have, if you want to, you have free reign of everything that this place offers. Which is
Cool.
great, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I went to the gym yesterday. It was already sweltering by the time I got out, and I went down to the gym at about 8 o'clock. So by 9 it was hot. So we went down to the pool. We're in the pool for a good 45 minutes as well. And so yeah, it's nice. It's
What does the pool mean? Does that mean just chilling, or does that mean doing some swimming as well?
a little bit of both. I would say it was a pretty even split. It was my first time back in the pool this season, so that was nice. Yeah, about a half of that is just full on swimming, and a half of that is just kind of lounging around, floating, and just enjoying. So
The type of people that live in the apartment block,
yes,
if you have to group them, are the majority of people big like you, or the majority of people more towards the fit and athletic side?
they're definitely more fit and athletic. Yeah, I,
So yeah,
it's
go ahead.
it's definitely made up of mid to late 20s California expats who've come over from a life of runs on the beach and Gold's gym memberships and things like that. So yeah, definitely on the leaner, definitely on the healthier side.
How does that make you feel when you go out to the pool? Because there's no hiding under a t-shirt there, is there?
No, it's tough. I mean, it's scary because you know that people are talking, because unfortunately that's just how a lot of people are. Um, that's one of the reasons why I do the amenities earlier in the morning. We went down to the pool yesterday afternoon just to be outside for a little bit. Lounged on the sun loungers. Yeah, and everyone down there is wearing the just looking all beach perfect. Yeah, and so I was like, oh, yeah, I was kind of dressed up like a Mormon, covered head to toe sort of thing. It's you know it it definitely the self consciousness kicks in.
So what about when you're in the fitness room? Have you, on the few times you've been there so far, have you been completely alone, or other people come in, or?
Completely alone, completely alone, and I have not been faced with the situation yet of what I would of if someone was in there, and I honestly don't know what I would do if someone was in there. I don't know if I would go in because I've done that before, but a part of me does think maybe if I did see someone in there, I might circle back and do it another time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, why don't you go the other way? Why don't you put up on a notice board there in the apartment area that you're overweight? Would anybody be willing to spend some of their time to help you train? Purely voluntary, just some way to get some help. Because I would guess that of those people, maybe 50% of them are positive kind of people, enthusiastic kind of people that want to help and change. Would you consider doing that?
I would definitely consider doing that.
So give it some thought, give it some action, then let us know how it goes. Because, yeah, if you've got somebody there to train alongside, somebody there that can just push you that little bit harder, and also somebody that can notice your improvement when you don't see it yourself, is worth something, isn't it?
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
And I know you're right. So many people, myself included, they want to do the right thing, whether it's go to the gym or go on a bike ride or go swimming. And then just at the last minute, they turn around and go back. And sometimes they end up at the ice cream parlor or somewhere else.
Right.
Just because of fear of being judged by others. And the irony is that the majority of people doing the judging would be saying, hey, look at that person, he or she. They're really trying to get themselves back into shape. So most feedback would be positive, but we tend to just notice the negative rather than the positive.
Yeah, I think the term accentuating the positives is a lot easier said than done sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
Which brings us on to the topic for this week, actually. Something that's happened to me many times in my life is that you get people around you that on one hand, they say that they support you, but actions speak louder than words, and very often their actions don't match their words.
Yeah.
And also, you're surrounded by people who are self-proclaimed experts on health and fitness, and typically those people are people that have never done anything in their life with regard to health and fitness.
Right.
Now, what do you do? How do you manage the situation? Your thoughts?
I was telling you off camera that I was asking you how many members of our family watch this, and it's one of those things you want to be honest, and sometimes you go against that and you say something that you think the other person would like to hear. But I think that this channel has always been about making people a little bit uncomfortable, not in a bad way, but just in a way that makes you honest with yourself. And I think that sometimes, especially in our family, through the best intentions, the support hasn't been there the same. And more often than not, the simple answer to the first question is give up. When those around you don't support you, part of you wants to say, no, you know what? To heck with what they think. I'm doing this. But very quickly, you find when you're in a house or when you're in a social circle of people that are trying to do something completely opposite, that motivation, that taking a stand, very quickly gets withered away by, they're going out to eat ribs or, going to the movies and having popcorn, things like that. And it's a hard thing, at least in my book, or those around who claim to know more than you. For the most part, 95% of the time, advice I get comes from someone who looks very similar to me. Maybe maybe not a man, maybe not, but usually, typically, it comes from someone who is overweight, who is struggling with self confidence, who is, yeah, having a bit of a hard time. And it really isn't often that I'll have someone who is healthy, good looking, got all the boxes checked off, giving me advice. It very rarely is the case. So,
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, for example, the big guy or the big girl that says, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with ice cream. You can eat that. That's fine." Or, "Oh, you mustn't eat carbs because they're bad for you." And they've got no medical experience.
yeah,
They've heard it on TV or seen it on TV or read it in a newspaper, and these things that they read become facts.
yeah,
And that's happened so often with me with my parents, or with my mum, and with my mother-in-law. And they do it with the best intentions,
mm-hmm.
but the advice that's given is not credible a lot of the time.
Right.
And also, you're right as well about when those people around you don't support you. I wonder why that is, because it's not just with weight loss. If I think about where I live, Austria, as you know, alcohol is a very important part of the Austrian culture, or this part of Austria. And as long as you don't say you're trying to cut down on your alcohol, it's fairly easy to cut down on your alcohol.
Yeah.
As soon as you tell the people, and you would have found this at the foyer or at places that you've been, as soon as you say, "No, I'm having a month without drink." "Oh, having a beer, have another one." Then there's this pressure to make you drink. Or when you say, "I'm cutting down on meat because I'm trying to lose weight," then they'll go and bring out a big plate of sausage and ham just to go the opposite. And it's a strange part of culture, and I found it over the years with my mum, that you say that you're trying to lose weight, then you get all of this advice that is misplaced, and then comes lunchtime or dinner time, and there's even more food put on your plate than there would have been normally.
Yeah.
It's just strange the way it goes. And for me, I'm so fortunate at the moment, because your mum is a true inspiration. In terms of the daily exercise that she does, we went out for a walk yesterday morning. First time that I can remember that we got up and we went out for a decent walk before breakfast. We had a great breakfast, and we've been active all of the time. And there's no forcing each other to eat food now. There's no stress. I get full support, and she gets full support from me. So it should be making my life much easier.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's very difficult, especially with in my situation at times. I live with a woman who is perfect in so many ways, absolutely so kind and considerate, and just wonderful to be around. But when it comes to weight loss, specifically her weight loss, her motivation, her self-esteem is just still it's low, really low. Sometimes it's just non-existent, and sometimes you find that you're fighting a battle not only for yourself and your health, but you're also trying to pick up the slack for her as well. And we were talking the other night about health in the wedding, and how it was my goal to be in a smaller waist, in a smaller collar size at the wedding. Basically, just all the things that I'd like to achieve. And it was so hard to get any sort of wish. It wasn't a yes, I'd like to be, instead of being I don't know how women's dress sizes work, but it was instead of being a size 2 or 3, or whatever, it was just, yeah, I guess I'd like to lose some weight. And it's hard. It's really hard, because part of you just wants to kind of just shout and say, you can do it. You really can do it. There's nothing stopping you. But then the other part of you is like, well, kind of crap. Well, I've been there before. I know how you feel. I know that you just feel like sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you're not going to make it. And so, on the one hand, I'd be a liar to tell her that, she's wrong for thinking what she's thinking, because I felt the same before. But yeah, it's just a really tough situation. And I think that kind of ties into the those around you who don't support you. I don't think it's necessarily sometimes even a lack of support, but I think it's sometimes just they themselves not being able to look in the mirror and see a way ahead. So why bother?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, terrible sound. Let me just mute myself. What about that?
So, I mean, you sound good over here.
Okay, fine. I heard a bit there. That's the difficult part. You gotta be in the right frame of mind, and you've got to be able to see that there are possibilities. And it's a bit like you and I. We remember the classroom and the teacher writing the maths formula on the board, and the people around you. Oh yeah, I understand that. And no matter how long you look at it, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
And if the people around you, you can see that there's a way forward now. You can see some progress. You can see, looking back on the last few weeks, that you're in a slightly better place now than you were on the 10th of January when we started.
Right.
So you can easily tell other people, look, it's easy. I've done it. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can't see it for themselves, then it'll just, it's hard to not to damage a relationship.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you have to respect it and give them the opportunity to find their own way.
I had a bit of a moment yesterday, and it really put things into perspective for me. Going back to what you were saying with the math and the numbers, Lily and I were out, and we had a nice morning out, having a great time, and we were close to my work, and so I called up one of my coworkers. I said, hey, we're nearby. Do you want us? Because he was working on a Saturday, and I called him. I was like, hey, I'm at my gas station. I'm right near your work. Do you want me to pick you up something to drink? And I know it's hot at the warehouse. Is there anything you need? And he's like, no, just come on by, say hi. So we did, and Lily had never been to my warehouse before. She'd never seen where I work, and I got to give her the tour, and I'm showing her all these things. And one of the things that really stood out to me, and I still smile about it just thinking about it now, is it kind of dawned on me as I was showing Lily that I have sole responsibility for around $4 million worth of products. Me alone, Thomas Huntington. I am the manager in charge of 4 million. The guy that didn't complete high school, that couldn't do the math, he is now in charge of millions of dollars worth of items of goods. I just kind of had that moment. I was like, well, if that is possible, if that is even in the realm of possibility, losing 15, 20, 30 pounds, that's a walk in the park. That's absolutely so doable. Yeah. I was just thinking about that, and it just a lot of what we see in our daily life can translate over to so many things. But yeah, if somebody like me who could not do the math and I couldn't do the math and can do something like this, anything is possible. Absolutely anything.
You're right. We are fortunate enough to have healthy bodies at this moment in time. Yours is still healthy, as is mine. We have the chance to completely mess the thing up, or to change it in a very positive way. And I'm glad to say that after, 19 weeks now we've been doing this? I think this is episode 19. We're well on our way.
Yeah.
Talking our way, let's talk about what's going to happen next week. This was last week's challenge. Any ideas for a challenge for this week, Thomas?
Another 1 hour exercise 2 to 3 times.
This was the one for last week that you didn't do. And I didn't do much of it either. So we can keep this one on.
Yeah, I like this one. I think we should do it.
The reason why I left it as another exercise was I figured that at the moment you don't have a bicycle.
Right.
I'm going to go cycling. I figured that you could go on the treadmill, or you could go on the exercise bike. Should we stick with this one for the week then?
I think we should absolutely do that. I also need to make a commitment to all of our viewers as well. You said, and it's very rightly so, I've been slacking a little bit when it comes to doing my part for this channel. And so just to kind of throw in on a personal level to this challenge, I'm going to get my picture up there, and I'm also going to get my cumulative distance traveled from the beginning of this year, so that we can put, not necessarily our numbers together, but the numbers are out there for everyone.
Okay, that's good. What about putting together a trend chart? Are you ready for that yet? We don't need to have the absolute number there.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So let's start that. So today, have you been keeping a track?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to share the data points with me, you don't need to share the number, but we can put together a chart for the last few weeks. Starting point, you can say you started at 1,000 pounds if you want. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But then we'll catch the trend.
Okay.
I've also been slacking. I got down and I was just by the 100. I think it was 100.2. And this week I was up to 102, but now this morning I was up to 100.9, or 101, give or take. So in the coming week, I'm going to put some more emphasis on me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been doing, up until the last couple of weeks, every morning I was doing the fitness videos. And I've slacked on that. But starting tomorrow, I'm back on that. I will do the challenge. And let's rekindle some motivation, shall we?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like this. I also think it's good that our motivations kind of had a bit of a dip at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah,
If we can have your trend chart next to mine,
absolutely.
then it will be good to see. Step average this week, nothing special. Mind you, last week was a good one. I had one day when I did 30 plus.
Yeah.
So 92 and a half, 94 and a half, 95. So 96 kilometers. So I'm keeping it up there. I'm still meeting the daily goals. William's doing okay as well, because all along he's said that his daily goal, as long as he makes his 10,000, he's happy.
Good for him. Yeah.
He's also been doing some cardio, been doing some cycling as well. So he's been more committed this week than I've been.
Right.
I like also the fact that you've 10,000 steps a week. That's history for you. It's been history for a long time. Considering back before the 1st of January, you'd be lucky to get 10,000 steps in a month.
Right.
That's really, really impressive. And the fact that you've got a few days here when you're 18,000 or thereabouts, 16,000, 15,000. So you're doing really, really well.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate it, Pa. I mean, we're all doing a fantastic job. William, yourself, you guys are just, I mean, the difference is night and day. How does it feel? How does it feel not having the same kind of stress, weight on your joints, on your bones?
God, very good question, actually. I see we're over time, but we can carry on because it's very interesting that you bring this topic up. I went for a walk with your mum, and I felt light. I felt easy. I felt not encumbered by excess weight.
Mm-hmm.
Without doubt, I've got a long way to go, but I just enjoyed it. I still have aching joints,
Right.
aching ankles, aching knees. That's possibly part of old age.
Yeah.
It's also part of carrying too much weight. I'm not completely naive, but the fact that I've dropped 17 kilos. Yesterday, I was lifting a 20-kilo bag of cement from the front of the house to the back of the house. I could hardly lift it. It's 20 kilos. That's almost what I've lost. And to be carrying that around every day, I've got 2 of those.
Right.
So I've lost one of them. I've got another one to lose.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously doing me good when I'm getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy walking even more now. Walking with your mum, we can walk and we can talk. And highly recommend it. What about you?
So I've lost 17 pounds since the beginning of the year. 17 pounds, as you've always told me, is nothing until you go to the store and you take out 17 pounds worth of butter.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my way of measuring ever since you kind of showed that to me. And it's a lot. I don't think I'm at the point. Well, no, I do think I've actually noticed a difference. When I hiked, when I went up the mountain, I was at high elevation. My breathing took about 20 minutes to get used to, and I was fine. I can spend all day on my feet now, no problems. Things that now for me seem run of the mill every day, I think back on, I was like, there's no way I could have done that. So at face value, no, I didn't see a difference. But again, when you think about it, there's absolutely a massive difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Keep smiling and keep up the good work. So I believe that it's about time that you say goodbye to our viewers.
Yes.
And we get knuckled down for the week ahead of us.
I think that sounds like a plan.
And this time next week, we should have the third buff guy with us as well. So
terrific. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Over to you.
All righty. Well, everybody, another exciting week of buff guying in the books completed. Had a bit of a motivational dip today, but we are going to be back on track by next week. There's going to be a lot more exciting things coming at you. Just want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching this, giving likes and subscribing. It means a great deal to all of us 3 buff guys. Have a wonderful week. Make good choices and enjoy your life. Take care for me. Goodbye for now.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the rest